You happy?
I'm happy, yeah.
Right.
Shoot away.
Will you mention Liverpool?
Never without it.
Right. Okay. Right. Okay. I'm McDullowalia today. I'm down home in homeland in County Kerry. I'm here with Noel O'Connor. Noel, how are you keeping?
I'm good. Good now, thankfully.
Noel, thanks for having me on the farm. We a lot of people will know you as Noel O'Connor online on social media. Often won't know what you look like because I think you have a meme with a lad with a fish
Yeah.
up. But look, you're very active online, Noel, and look, you're a very passionate farmer. I'm supposed to, we often have chatted online and we've met each other in person. Came down here, we're in a new calf shed, it's gone well for you. Before we start talking about maybe your experience with Precision Microbes, it's been a tough spring for you, Noel.
Yeah, it was. With building work going on the farm as well, and my health took a bit of a hit there the month of March. Just as we finally got the calf shed finished, I got very sick there for the 1 to 2 months, 6 weeks. And look, the calf shed was a lifesaver because if we had to work at the system we were at before, I wouldn't have been able to bring the milk. It was tough physically. Now
It
it
was
was
the
tough.
hardest spring you said you've ever had.
The hardest spring, yeah.
And you're on the way out of it now, which is great.
I am. It's slow progress, slow and steady. We're getting there.
Tough man. It's hard to keep your man down. Noel, I suppose a lot of people know you as well and would have read your articles, maybe even the journal. Like you've had a tough 2 years with TB in the farm. You're kind of starting from scratch again. And look, you don't have to tell farmers about how difficult TB is from a production and an economic loss point of view.
Yeah.
But I think when I read your article and I looked at your stuff online, there was a real emotional, part of a herd of cows going out of the yard. So
it was like losing a limb, Tommy. They're there. You've calved them. You've calved their mothers, their grandmothers, their great grandmothers, their great grandmothers. You could look in and you say, "Oh, I know her. She's off of her now, and off of her, and she's related to her now through this one." And you build up a great relationship and a great genealogy of the herd. You'd look at them and you'd know who she's related to and what you can expect. Oh, that's my hard calf in line now. I'll have to get up tonight and keep an eye on her. She's too close. So you kind of lose all that knowledge in one fell swoop, I suppose.
Yeah, and that was very hard. So you've been through a tough time, Noel.
It's been interesting, yeah.
But you're very resilient. No, I think I have a huge amount of respect for you.
Thanks.
From watching on from that, looking at that, I think it was very powerful as well that you spoke about it the way you did, because I think it helps other farmers as well. And it may be putting an emotional value, because we can put economic values on disease, but there's an emotional value on disease we don't think about. Anyway, onwards and upwards. We're in the new calf shed. I suppose calf health, you were dehorning here today, knocking out calves and dehorning. Calf health went well for you this year.
It did. The shed has been transformative. It's one of the things that were transformative anyway. It's just so simple now to cow calves. You bring the calf into a pen and you can put them in a group and train them to a nipple feeder for a couple of days before moving them out onto the automatic feeders. And it just very, very simple. And the fact that I don't have to be carrying milk around the yard it makes
it. Maybe next spring you'll be doing it in the full of your health. You'll even get more value out of it again.
Hopefully, yeah.
Automatic feeders, you're happy with the automatic feeders?
Yeah. Oh, look, it was fantastic just to put a bag of powder into the machine or 2 bags of powder a day just to keep an eye on the feeder, on the level of powder. And you get alerts then for calves that weren't doing well or that weren't drinking as often or were slower drinkers. And you could come out, you could say, oh, yeah, he was always like that. He just feeds 6 times a day rather than 3 times a day, or he's a slow drinker now, so we'll move him to a couple of weeks longer before he's weaned off. Little things like that. In batch feeding, you wouldn't take as much notice because you didn't have individual whereas if they were all drank, if the feeder was empty, they'd all drank. One calf could have got 3 litres, another calf could have got 1.5 litres. You'd only spot that by the 1.5 litre calf going backwards or not thriving as well. Whereas now every calf gets a fair share, and you can see what calf isn't doing well straight away. The machine will alert you. It's been brilliant. Excellent. Brilliant.
You use Precision Microbes here. Just a quick word. Were you happy with how it went? You actually fed it through the automatic feeder?
I fed it through the automatic feeder, yeah. We just get the 10-litre drum, and there's a container inside that we just fill in there once or twice a week. And look, we had no bother getting the calves to drink. They literally, once they hit 2 weeks of age, they came to the feeder regularly, and they were brilliant. The calves, if we had a sick calf, we'd only one calf that had scour while they were on the feeders here, and it was just a matter of we gave them extra fluids. We stomach tubed the calf twice with fluids and with the precision microbes, and within 48 hours, that calf, you wouldn't know there's anything wrong with the calf. He had no setback.
The lad who built the shed is going to say it was him. The guy who put in the automatic feeder is going to say it was that person or girl or fella. And I'm going to say it was the microbes. But you were happy with him, Noel, this year?
I'm happy. Look, everything just came beautifully, because just as we got the calves in here and the feeders going, that's kind of when I got sick. So it was just, I was doing the bare minimum here, to be honest.
Yeah.
I just put in the powder, rolled a bit of straw when it was needed, and just checked the.
You were in survival mode a little
I
bit.
was in survival mode, yeah.
That's okay,
yeah,
and that's it's a tough station to be in, yeah?
Yeah.
Noel, I suppose, to finish up, those of you who know you online, is you're not shy of a few comments about agriculture and where agriculture is going. And we don't always, everyone doesn't always agree about everything, but you are very passionate about agriculture. What do you think the next decade looks like? As someone on the ground, you have a good grasp of science. You did ag science many moons ago now, probably.
Yeah, many moons ago, yeah.
I'll let that stop for a second now.
Yeah. I thought.
Is that you or me?
No, that's you.
Jesus Christ. I had to edit out. I was blaming Noel for the phone ringing.
Noel is going to check his phone.
It was actually my phone anyway. So that was the interruption. Noel, back to that. Look, you have a scientific background. You're farming for a good number of years here. You've seen lots of changes, lots of different things. What's the next decade look like for you? As maybe you might have another next generation coming on. What are your thoughts on farming? I know you've plenty of them. What do we need to be thinking about? What are our challenges and what are the opportunities?
I think that it's a generational challenge, I suppose, for dairy farmers, especially. The average age of a dairy farmer is not far off 60 years of age. I'd be one of the young lads, and Jesus, I'm in my mid-50s now, and that's frightening.
Okay.
The fact that there's such a disconnect between the younger lads coming in, that the younger age cohort, there's nobody in between 20 and 40. There's very, very few farmers in that would have control of the farm themselves. I think that's something we'll have to address as soon as possible. Really, it needs to be done. Inputs. We were probably using too many inputs and maybe using them at the wrong time. I think that since the nitrates has come in, we're growing as much grass, if not more grass, with a fraction of the nitrogen use as we had. The standard practice was 10 bags of nitrogen per acre per year, and we're back to 3.5, 4 bags of nitrogen now and getting the same grass. So
the fertilizer companies won't sponsor this particular
They won't,
video,
no.
But it's true. It's something I have seen, Noel, is that, okay, price of fertilizer went up, but it also made, okay, people had to think a lot about usage. And I'm seeing that farm after farm that, okay, once the water and the moisture is there to grow it, you're getting that better response.
You are.
So that in itself is a huge leap forward. But what's the next leap forward from that then again? I know you're talking about looking at foliar sprays and stuff.
Yeah.
Do we need to open our mind to that stuff?
I think we need to open our mind to everything that'll make a difference, I think. For my sake, we have multi-species sown, and I think for grazing, in my situation anyway, multi-species looks like looks like an area that I would like to have more in. It's my first year with it. I'll be grazing it there in about 3 weeks' time, I would say. So and I'm looking forward.
In 4 years to see.
Come back in 4 years if it's all multi-species or none. We'll know more at that stage. But it's about results. But in our case here, we've land let out for tillage at the minute, and reseeding that in the autumn with multi-species is problematic because they won't have enough time to get set for the winter. I would say to get well developed to survive the winter. So we might have to go in spring. So there's grass and clover, fine. The end of August, you can set that, and you get a grazing or 2 grazings before the end of the year to get it set up for the following year. Multi-species isn't as forgiving of poor weather, and there's lots of things like that. There's big changes, but change is constant. The only constant is change. So we're going to have to develop our systems to cater for the market and for the regulation requirements as they go along.
You're the second wise person that said to me that the only constant in life is change itself. Very difficult to manage. No, listen, I wish you well. I know you're on the mend now, which is great to see as well. And I think what is very clear about farming is you need resilience. So I think after your last 2 years, you've certainly shown the resilience factor. And look, I hope it's the road to recovery, and you can properly, as you said yourself, get the full enjoyment out
Thank
of
you.
maybe your new shed and your build. But continued success.
Thank you. My wife would say it's more pig-headedness than anything else, than the resilience.
Sometimes that's all you need, Noel. Sometimes that's all you need. Continued success, Noel, and thanks
Thank
very
you.
much for the
Thanks
call.
very much, Tommy. Great having you here, Ania.